Hello, everybody. Welcome to Redesign My Life. This is Twan, and I have Sean Flynn here today. And today we're going to be talking about bromance. They feel like intimate male friendships have become socially acceptable in recent years. The bromance, right?
Bromance.
Yeah. So people feel like it's creating weaker bonds among dating and married couples, and it might reduce the likelihood of people pairing up at all. What do you think about that?
I don't know about that. I guess I'd have to see evidence that it would be that it would intercept, male-female relationship or your heterosexual relationship. But I don't know. That's fascinating. I think that we live in an ever more isolating world. Because you don't have to go out. You don't have to. You could sit in your home and exist and never really speak to anybody. And eventually, Amazon is going to bring you your groceries, and you're not really going to have to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
So if you've got one or two, buddies that you just want to talk to, then no, you don't really need to. You don't really need more than that. I don't know. That's interesting that it's that the suggestion is that it's actually hurting male-female relationships or dating.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's an interesting concept. What do you think about that? You think it's
I think nowadays, statistically, depending on the guy, it can weaken the bond because it ends up being to the point where they choose their friend or bromance versus hanging out with their girl because they know their girl is you're already attached to them.
Right.
You already know you can hang out with them just about any time, and the thing is, sometimes you end up choosing your bromance over your girlfriend.
But I have to wonder why now? Why in history do you think the bromance is dominating?
Well, I'm not sure if it's really dominating, but I know it's taking a shift.
It's
increasing in statistics.
It's got a spotlight, in a way.
I think people realize they need their independence from their male, female...
Their significant other.
Yeah, their significant other. Right? For me, I feel like, you can be hanging out with them all the time. You're going to be hanging out with them so much that you need your romance time or your own time or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So...
It's funny because I have a buddy back home. We talk all about it's my bromance. It's him and me, and because we've been through maybe not kindergarten, but we were second, third grade. We met or whatever, and middle school, high school. I've known this guy my entire life, and he's had relationships, and so have I.
Yeah.
But we always joke about the different styles, because it's just funny. He goes through a lot of relationships. He just one after the other. And it's not like it's something where he's trying to have a lot of relationships. He gets awkward. He feels awkward, and he wants to be in a relationship that really works for him, and he is trying.
Yeah.
But he ends up in more shorter relationships than I don't try as much. I'm not as invested in that.
Yeah.
So I'll have something I've been really working up to for a few months. I've been, and I'll tell Eric, gosh, this one girl I kind of like, and he says, "Oh, wow, okay," And meanwhile he's going through 1 or 2, 3 relationships, and I'm still working on this one that I haven't even asked out yet.
Oh, really?
And then I'll ask her out, and then it'll go, maybe it'll go for a few months or whatever. And meanwhile, 1, 2, 3, so it's just funny to see the difference in it.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll ever stop.
It's the same conversations over and over.
Yeah.
Us guys can do that.
Right,
like,
but we're
all the
checking
time.
and it's important to us, and we probably know each other better, our faults, our weaknesses, our strengths, better than some of the partners that we have. And I think it's interesting. I think socially, as a culture, we've evolved into a point where it's much more societally accepted to say, "Oh yeah, I dated this person for a time, and then now I'm not.
Yeah.
Now I'm not a new person." I think maybe maybe 10, 50 years ago or so, it was less popular to be in many relationships in a shorter time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more conservative, you know. You got married young.
Yeah.
You had a good relationship, and you stayed with them.
Yeah.
You know?
Nowadays you have Tinder and all sorts of different online sites where, there's so many fishes in the sea out
like
there.
The fast food of relationships.
Yep, it is.
Those things, you know? You can just,
Yeah. All right. So they said the reason it's been more prevalent is because they feel they're being less judged by their male friends. For example, the guys can share with each other that they listen to Taylor Swift, but they keep it from their girlfriend because they feel less judged. You ever had a moment like that where you don't share something with your girlfriend, but you share with your guy friends?
Yeah, I think so. I hope I get over that, though. I do hope I move past that, because I think a good relationship is based on truth.
Yeah.
You know, if you want a good, solid foundation, you want to try and make it like your bromance, where you're just yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because every time you try to trim yourself into this white knight version of yourself that isn't you, and you try to really duck and dive some of those maybe more effeminate qualities of yourself, then you're gonna run into things you don't want to tell your girlfriend. I'm trying to think of an example though, because I've done it before. You know.
We've all have.
Yeah, I didn't really want to share.
All right, so they say 28 out of 30 people say they prefer to discuss personal matters with their bromance over their romance.
Yeah.
You think that number really represents the true consensus?
20 to 30%.
28 out of 30. That's a high number.
I mean, it's barely any people that didn't believe it. What?
And from your perspective, do you think that really represents the true consensus? Or do you think it's more 60-40, 70-30%?
No, I think that's a real number.
You think so?
I think it's a real number. You know why?
Yeah.
It's because I think they're polling younger people.
Okay.
I don't think they're polling. I don't think they're polling. Maybe not younger people. They're just polling so many people that the vast majority of people are in relationships that will end at a certain point. So because of that, most of the really intimate things that they're telling their bromance guy is the stuff about their girl. You know, that's what they're telling him. That's what they're telling him. It's like, man, I don't know about, Christy. You know, I like her, but I've got this thing about the way she does this one thing, and that's what they're telling him.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the 28 out of 30 guys is. The last two guys are married, and know that this is their partner, and are confident enough to tell Christy, I don't like this one thing that you did do, and then because they know Christy's going to tell them, well, I don't like this thing that you do, so that's where those two gentlemen are married and honest about their relationships. The 28 are still figuring it out. They're like you and me, we're still working on it.
All right. So they say that analysts, they feel like it might have implications from where and how men choose to live. Like moving in with a guy friend instead of a girlfriend, and that might delay them getting married and starting a family. You think the bromance thing delays that kind of growth in society nowadays?
It could be, because it's a safety net.
Yeah.
If you don't have the relationship, well, I can just, I'll tell Eric about it. I'll tell my buddy about, that's fine. I can move on, because I have a network. But if it's something where I think that's where it's really difficult to break out of relationships where you are so intimate and so close.
And then you live with them too. That's even harder to get out of.
Because no bromance is going to solve that.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want to your friend. It's not going to change the fact that you're totally broken inside. After this really strong relationship. And if it's really that strong, it probably means you had to sacrifice some time with your bromance. So I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Gotcha. What do you think? Do you think that that's real? Do you think that's an interruption of relationships?
I've read some articles where people are getting married later and having kids later and things like that, and I think this has a partial shift to that because people understand that the divorce rate is high. And then also they have their friends to hang out with and to lean on. And so they delay the growth part of getting married or having kids or whatever they delay. That it shifts, and now it's at a later age. It used to be mid-20s that people get married. Now it's like late 20s or early 30s, you know, and
Yeah.
it just keeps on shifting and being pushed
I
up.
think you definitely hit the crux of it in growth.
Yeah.
There's no demand to grow quickly,
Yeah.
relationship-wise.
Yeah.
There's just no demand
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I think societally, like you think about like, you know, World War II, World War One. You know, these were people that were like, I'm never going to see you again. You're overseas. You might not come back.
Yeah.
We might as well get married now. Like that type of thinking. It's like, okay, there's this big thing
Yeah.
that could really ruin my life or do something drastic to my life.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's that war, the Cold War, or whatever. You know, we don't live in that society anymore.
Yeah.
If there's a war going on, I am so far away from it now. You know, the ISIS is about as dangerous as it gets. And they're losing ground, and they're stuck in Syria. Like that,
Yeah.
this is not going to affect. It's not affecting me yet. Yes, there's terrorist attacks, and there's things that happen in my life, but not enough of an interruption for me to be concerned about growing myself. The clock is as long as I want it to be, really.
Yeah.
Especially for me as a guy, and I think that's where the bromance comes in. Is I
Yeah.
could wait till 50 if I wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can still have a kid. It's not optimal, probably,
Yeah.
and there's not a precedent for it among my friends either. You know, my
Yeah.
friends are not getting married yet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure in my 30s, you know, that's going to be more prevalent, or in my
The
late
cycle
20s,
will
that's
kick
going to
in.
be, you know, because I hear about that sometimes. People seeing pictures on Facebook of their buddy getting married,
Yep.
you know, and yeah, that'll be there, but I'll have friends that aren't married yet.
Yeah.
I still have friends like that, you know. So societally, it's lack of emphasis.
All right, so thanks everybody for watching this excerpt on bromance. I hope you found some valuable input off that, or valuable insight. You know, so we'll come up with some more topics, and this is actually our last show together in person. So Sean is moving on back to New York to be closer to his family. So you know, let's just wish him, you know, the best, and wish him good luck in all his endeavors. But we'll be having a show format online. We'll do more video type of style, and we'll still keep in touch with things like that. So I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.